I'm Michelle Reimer, Senior Executive of Y Health with the Metropolitan Milwaukee Y. And I'm joined here today by my daughter, Nora.
Hi.
And we'd like to welcome you to Something's Cooking at the Y. So it's likely you've been stocking up on dried goods, in particular, dried beans. So beans are an excellent source of fiber, potassium, and folate, which are all excellent for your heart and to help maintain a healthy weight. In fact, beans are also an excellent source of protein. 1/4 cup of cooked beans equals 1 ounce of meat. So in addition to being an excellent source of different nutrients, dried beans are also extremely economical. A bag such as this, about 1 pound or about 2 cups of dried beans, will make 5 to 6 cups of cooked beans. So you've stocked up on dried beans. Let's talk about how we're going to cook them. Preparing dried beans actually takes 2 different steps. The first is to prepare them by soaking them, and then the second is actually to cook them. So let's talk about preparing them first. The first soaking method is a traditional overnight soak. What we're going to do is we're going to add our dried beans. This is about 2 cups to a big pan. Then we're also going to add 10 cups of water. Once the water has been added, we'll place a cover on it, and then we'll put it in the refrigerator. So the next method is either a hot soak or what we call a quick soak. So again, you've added your dried beans and your water to the pot, but now instead of refrigerating them overnight for about 12 hours, we're actually going to put them onto the stove, bring them to a boil for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to let them sit before we cook them between 1 to 4 hours. Right. So the last and the quickest way to prepare dried beans is to cook them in an Instant Pot. So an Instant Pot uses pressure to cook the beans very quickly. So let's go over how we're going to do this. Again, we're going to start out with our 2 cups or about a pound of dried beans. And then we're going to add 8 cups of water. Now at this point, you could also add things like garlic or bay leaves or different herbs. I like to cook mine just plain because then I use them in all different types of recipes. Then we're going to seal on our Instant Pot lid. I'm going to make sure that it's in the position that's not vented. And then I'm going to cook them for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm also going to let them do a natural release. So a natural release is going to take about 10 minutes after the 20-25 minutes is up. So we're going to do pressure cook, and I'm going to increase this all the way up to 25. Now different beans cook at different amounts. Cannellini and garbanzo beans tend to cook more, tend to take about 30 minutes versus just the 20 minutes for black beans. Okay, so now the Instant Pot has self-released the pressure. So I'm going to take off the lid. And when I go in here, I find nice and tender beans. Now if by chance the beans were not tender enough for you, you can put the lid back on and then cook it for another 10 minutes. So now that my beans are done cooking, what I'll do is I'll drain them and then I can store them for future use. You can either put them in a mason jar, one of my favorite ways to store things, or in a shallow dish. They'll keep in the refrigerator for about a week and up to 3 months in the freezer. Join me later this week as we go over some different recipes to use these beans that we've just cooked today. Or you can enjoy them like Nora is right now. Thanks for joining us, but Something's Cooking at the Y.